So since the tragic event on November 30th, we wanted to just bring our community an update on sort of where we are at this point. I think first I want to let everybody know that, we've been a part of the grieving process. Whether it's our administrators, our teachers, our students, our whole community, we've been a part of that. And so our community's been shaken to its core. We have provided resources and counselors and anything and everything that we can possibly think of. I know Tom's had some personal interactions with some of the therapy dogs that we've brought in for our students and staff, and so that's just been a lot of our time and energy has just been a part of that grieving process. I'll say it like that. I cannot thank enough individuals, families, companies within our community, companies outside of our community, people from all walks of life have reached out to support our students and our staff and our community, and so I'm just very thankful of that. So that's probably the first thing. Second update is that we've really been focused on our soft return to school. We were put in contact with other school personnel and districts that have had similar types of experiences, and all of them have really just told us, try to get your students back into school, your staff back into school as soon as possible. The sooner the better. And so we have been really focused on doing that. We're going through that grieving process with the students and staff. At the same time, trying to take very measured steps in ultimately trying to get everybody back to school. And so that's sort of what we've been doing with that, and again, that has included counseling services. We're announcing today that a lot of our varsity and high school athletic things are starting to back up, and so we're real happy about that. I don't know, Tom, you can jump in when I get to the end of saying what I want to say, and then you can fill in. I think the other thing that I want people to know is that from the very start of this whole ordeal, we have been in constant contact with the Sheriff's Department, with the Oakland County prosecutors and their office, and we have been 100% transparent. We have given them anything and everything that they have asked for. They have not needed to ask for anything twice. As we have generated new data, anything that they've asked for, we have immediately turned that over to them. And so I know as the superintendent, one of our 6 values is accountability, and And so we, the school board, myself, our administrators, we just want our community to know that, we're not shying away from any type of accountability, and so we're doing that. And then I think the last thing that I would just want to update people on and give a perspective is that I have suggested, and I will formally tomorrow night at the board meeting be bringing forth this idea of a third-party review. And so what I want our community to know is this third-party review is not an independent third party to make sure the investigation is done correctly. We don't have any concerns at all in regards to the sheriff's office or prosecutor's office. So this isn't, a review to make sure they're doing their job. And it is more of, think of it as just a very broad review. In most, if not all of, these instances where school districts have had this happen, they have had some type of a commission or a blue ribbon committee put together that has taken a look at the totality of sort of where we're at. And so when I spoke of that, that's what I meant. I want to try to clear up any confusion that there may have been in regards to that. So I think that's where I'm at as far as an update. Mr. Donnelly, President Donnelly.
On behalf of the school board, and I'm honored to be speaking on their behalf, the grieving process has been the #1 process. A tragedy took place. And there are parents that don't have kids coming home, bedrooms that are empty, and those kinds of things weigh heavy on all of our hearts. We as a community need to do all that we can to take advantage of the things that are being offered. Cabinet has worked so hard to make sure that we have the opportunity to get the help that we need. Check our website if you're uncertain as to when things might be and what's appropriate for you to be a part of. But it is #1, right? We can't reopen until we're all ready, right? And especially at the high school. But a proud moment was that every one of us board members got to be at a different elementary school or the middle school when they had their half day. And this week they have been actively in school. We have beefed up security. We have a private security firm. There's a police presence. There are the comfort dogs that are there. We succeeded. This is something that we need to understand as we look at Oxford Strong, is that the plan implemented by our cabinet has been not just dreamt up, but it happened. It's happening. And even that half day that we had, better than 80% of our students were in class that day. And now that number is just ever growing, higher and higher, getting back to normal numbers. For the high school, much discussion to have. But even in the meantime, the activities now, having sports get reopened again, and having the athletes get active, getting the band groups together and getting them to do the things, choirs getting together, getting to do the things they're doing. We're working hard to make sure that we're all kind of healing together for the purpose that we can get school reopened and get back to some semblance of order as we continue this grieving process. It is not going to be over in a day. It's going to take a time, but we're going to do it together because we're Oxford Strong. I think it's important, and it's been nice as an observer periodically to be here watching cabinet. it is essential for everyone in this community to know that we have been 100% transparent with all the information that the prosecutor may want, the sheriff has wanted. We have been 100% transparent. And look, we want accountability and justice no different than anyone else. And we don't want to get in the way or trip over ourselves and harm that investigation. So there are certain things we may not be able to say because that investigation is not over. But just know, community, we have been completely transparent and honest and open with everything that they've asked for and everything that they want. And I believe the board tomorrow night will accept Superintendent Throne's suggestion for a third-party review, that kind of blue ribbon committee type review. And I think that we will completely agree with that and completely want to support that and see that begin to happen in the near future.
Will you continue till whenever with the counseling services for teachers, students, and does that extend to family as well?
Yes.
There's no term limit for it?
No. So I think we're already beginning to put in place, I want to say Jim Gibbons had sent out an email that some resources to our people to begin that transition from immediate services to more intermediate long-term services as far as counseling and things like that. And so yes, it is our intent and our understanding that this is going to be a marathon. This is not a sprint, and so we'll continue to provide those resources for our students, our staff, everybody.
The outpouring of people wanting to help. We found ourselves tripping over one another even, which is a good thing. Is there something you don't need?
I think things are beginning to be more coordinated. Jordan and Todd over the Legacy Center now coordinating food distribution, coordinating some of those things. But it was beautiful, as you mentioned, that it was sometimes too much. But we put stuff in the freezers, we put stuff in the refrigerators, passed them out the next day. I've seen with my own eyes the distribution of many of those things take place, and it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. But I would say that I would imagine there's a transitioning from the trauma counseling to prolonged, eventually maybe less stuff, and I know that Oxford Bank and other people are accepting donations, then those monies can be distributed in a way in which things can be gotten and distributed and you don't have the waste, right? And so I encourage those types of giving.
Over and over again we've heard Tim was planning on retiring in January. What does that look like for you now?
So actually today, if we haven't, we will here shortly. I am going to, at tomorrow night's board meeting, basically offer to put my retirement on pause. And so again, I don't know what that means. I just know that we need time to process and do some things. And the last thing that probably our school board needs is to be rushing through a superintendent search process or that kind of thing. And so I don't even know if our board has to vote on it or not, but if they do, we'll have that on the agenda at tomorrow night's meeting as well.
And so the way that may look is that we would, if we needed to vote on it, would, or if not, we'll accept that. And then since the board meets monthly, we would meet monthly with Tim to discuss where the district's at and where he's at. Simultaneously, we can take that process that we were crunching into just a month and a half or two and now we can continue to do it, but spread it out, right? So I would not expect to see us stopping the process. We would just elongate that process, buying ourselves some time to do it right, while we're committing ourselves to all these other important aspects.